Hey folks, good morning. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. The people, esteemed guests from United States, maybe some scholars and some advocates, Interpol, Philadelphia Police Department, and the young folks from National Police Agency. Thanks for listening. Today, we confront matter of the profound ethical and societal consequence that is problematic entanglement between真如苑, a prominent religious organization in Japan, and the mechanism of state power. Particularly, I'm talking about Japan police apparatus. The relationship, far from benign, the raised critical question right now about its accountability, transparency, safeguarding individual rights within the spiritual community exists in Japan. Approximately 2 decades ago,真如苑, acting on recommendation of Japan's police agency, engaged in security firm known as Nihon Risk Control. According to the investigative report provided by the media called Access Journal, this firm was not what it seemed. Allegedly, it was the front company for the anti-social syndicates, and it apparently counted among its board the former police something. So detail that cast long shadow over its legality, but its arrangement, rather than fostering security among followers, it appeared to have enabled problematic pattern of coercive control within the真如苑organizations. There's a report from followers, including mine, that paints grim pictures, including allegations of spiritual manipulations or gaslighting, gang stalking, even sexual abuses, or, real estate seizure, conducted under the gaze of a divine guidance. These are not mere accusations. They point to systemic failure, amplified真如苑and apparent collusions with police authority. At the heart of this issue lies the dangerous confluence of police powers and religious influence facilitated through the Nihon Risk Control and some other vendor, maybe. The security firm, which is tied into a social network, has reportedly enabling unrestricted sharing of followers' personal information. That's the problem. So such access to the information creates the fertile ground for abuses, partially fabrication, falsifications, or any type of records pertaining followers, allowing真如苑to target non-compliant members with false accusations. So this not only undermines trust within a community, but also erodes the integrity of the broader system where the state and spiritual authority intervene without any oversights. And I think it should extend beyond真如苑itself. Individuals from Japan Public Security Police and Public Prosecutor Office are either adherents of the真如苑or serve as advisory as a role. Meanwhile, the figure like Ando Takaharu-san, the former police bureaucrats, hold influential role in external directors at a major corporation like Blackdown, partially funded by真如苑and principal financial institutions. Like what? Where? Mizuho Bank. And entertainment firms like Amuse, where I can identify several suicidal attempts of TV talents, as well as advisory position in some dubious data security company, which I forgot the name. In any event, this phenomenon known as amakudari, the post-retirement placement of the bureaucrats into the lucrative private sector role, creates web of conflicts of interests. These former officials appear to exploit their position within a religious corporate sphere for personal enrichment, often at the expense of the public trust and the institutional impartiality of the police. So I think the path forward demands decisive action First, we must disentangle collusive tie between Shinyo and the police institution. I don't know how many times I said this, but we must disassociate collusive tie of those two entities, This begins with probably the comprehensive investigation into activities of vendors, vendors such as risk control or some other vendors, Shinyo employees. And its role, and maybe clarify the role and responsibility in facilitating information sharing abuses. Second, we need a robust legal framework, LDP, regulate amok practice, ensuring the former police official cannot leverage their authority for personal gain within a religious or corporate entity. Common sense, right? Third, Shinyo itself must undergo an internal reform, prioritizing transparency and accountability to protect its followers from any type of coercions or any type of abuses. Finally, we call for independent inquiry into destination of police retirees, tracing flow and influence, and funds to prevent diversions of public resources for private profit. So the collusion between Shinyo and police power is not merely institutional failure, I think. It is a betrayal of trust placed in a spiritual leader and the public servants alike. By addressing these issues head-on, we can restore the integrity of our system and protect the vulnerable from the exploitations. Let us act with urgency, resolve to ensure there's no institutions, whether religious or governmental, can wield such an unchecked power over the lives of individuals living in Japan. This sometimes makes me feel so stupid because I don't have any feedback at all. So I welcome your thoughts and questions as we discussed so far, how to hold powerful institutions accountable and safeguard the rights of those they serve. Thanks for listening, teacher.